escenario. Ahí está. Otro video. Vamos a ver el video. Un aplauso para Bonnie Wright. Hello guys. Welcome guys. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Hello everyone.
Hello everyone. Yeah, I'm very good too. Enjoying everything here. Amazing.
Thank you so much for being here in our very first big fan event in Peru, and you are part of history now. So thank you so much for being part of this. Really, for the fans, thank you so much, right? Okay. Thank you. So, first time in Peru. What are the things you're doing before this?
Yeah, it's my first time actually in the whole of South America, so it's a huge, I'm glad it was Peru as my first. Yeah, I'm loving everything. I mean, I'm a big fan of your food, the ceviche, I've had so much. And maybe a few too many pisco sours. But yeah, I've really enjoyed wandering around the city of Lima. We walked to like Barranco, my friend and I have wandered around, and yeah, it's been great to meet everyone that we have today.
Barranco, ceviche, pisco sour. Perfect. For you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. It's my first time in South America, and you know, I'm enjoying myself. Your food tastes amazing. I went out to try pisco sour and a few beers, local beers, and really good. So I'm really enjoying myself in Peru.
Well, this is a fun event, and I can see you're wearing a Star Wars t-shirt, so you're a fan also?
Of course.
Of course. Bonnie, for you, when you are growing up, remember, besides Harry Potter, of course, one thing that you are a fan about it?
Oh, what did I like apart from Harry Potter? I was like really big into a lot of like Japanese stuff, so I really liked Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. So I had like all the playing cards, the figurines of Dragon Ball Z and everything I used to love, yeah.
And now you are part of a big franchise with a lot of fan base, so how cool is that?
Yeah, it's very bizarre. It's one of those things that I think some days you can realize and some days you almost don't, and it's kind of like a dream that it all happened. I think when we were making the movies, it was, you know, we were in this kind of bubble of this world, and it wasn't really until we stepped out and we had things like premieres, or, you know, you met fans or had reactions to it, did it almost sometimes sort of play real in your mind.
I always remember that we got the opportunity to be in London and in a world premiere. I don't remember which movie it was, I think it was Azkaban, and in Leicester Square, they built the whole thing in the audio theater, and they even fans from Peru. I'm from Peru as well, as you know, and there's a bunch of fans from Peru just to be there. So it's a worldwide phenomenon. So
oh yeah, I mean it's this crazy global, you know, phenomenon that I think the beauty of the stories, which is why so many people love them, is it, you know, it crossed boundaries of language and culture, and it's just a simple story of a boy growing up.
And for you, Sam, be on the set, which is all the directors play a lot with the special effects, but also with the practical things. So you had huge pieces of set, real customs, real props. So how fun was for you?
Oh, it was very good fun. I mean, you know, the fourth film where I come, you know, to play in Harry Potter, We had a huge swimming pool built for the underwater stuff. We had the maze, obviously all the Quidditch stuff, which was quite painful. But yeah, it was good fun. It's like being on a huge playground with you know, some very nice people, very good friends. I mean, we got that introductory period where we had to play games, and you know, we got really close together, and it was great fun. So.
But the Quidditch you say is painful because what? You are in a wire, like 5 feet in the air, like in a green screen.
It's painful because you have a very small seat.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
You're strapped in and like thrown around, spun around.
Could be tedious at some point, like shooting all day in a green screen.
Not really. It's interesting because you know, you're constantly doing stuff and time really flies by very quick. So you don't really feel, you know, as time passes by. You know, you're there at 7 a.m. getting your makeup, and then it's like, you know, the whole days come to an end, and you're like, oh, when did we start? And you know, you're thinking about the next day. So it's like a constant wheel that keeps turning.
Tenemos unas imágenes de la película. A ver, vamos a ver. We got some footage from the movies. Let's see what they have.
And now our friends from the north. Please greet the proud sons of Durmstrang and the High Master Igor Karkaroff.
This was my first entrance to the Great Hall, actually, I think, and yeah, brings back memories. It was 10 years ago now. I was only 20, but yeah, it was really good. I mean, you know, we got to see all the guys perform, you know, the capoeira skills, and yeah, it was great.
There's a lot of extras, and the all actors. I mean, Maggie Smith, a lot. Who was there?
Yeah, everyone was there. You know, we enter, and you know, there is this story when Viktor Krum enters, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, is it really him? This is Viktor Krum!" And you know, Ron gets all excited, and Hermione.
Before that, you read the books, or was like something new for you as an actor?
I read the books throughout the film. I mean, you know, just before we started, I had to do the body cast for the shark, and everyone was telling me, you know, this is the moment when Viktor Krum turns into a shark, he saves Hermione, and I was like, yeah. So I went back and I read the books because I had no idea what was happening.
I always remember that Radcliffe told me that he hates underwater sequences because they put underwater some chemistry because they need to light on the camera, pick everything, so the water is not just water, they got like some chemistry inside, and the eyes are itchy and the skin is rough. So for you, how was the experience?
Yes, underwater is very physically demanding. I mean, you know, you're underwater, you're not breathing, you need to keep your eyes open, you need to act underwater, and you know, it's a difficult thing. But then obviously, you know, you get training with professionals, and you know, you do your stuff. And then of course you have CGI and computers to help you out. So
for you, Bonnie, remember any particular difficult moment? Not I know it's fun and you are all friends, but like in a technical way, like was complicated, tedious?
Yeah, I mean, we were very lucky in these films that all of the sets, pretty much, that you see, they actually built, which is like never really happens anymore in filmmaking because you can just make everything look so real with CGI. So there was one, and then there was like the odd moment where you had to really use your imagination, and that sometimes was quite challenging because you wanted it to look real. There was one scene in the fifth film in the Order of the Phoenix when we were like running through the Ministry of Magic and all of we were looking for the Horcrux, and there were all the glass globes. We were meant to be running through and thousands were falling, and there was just nothing. We were literally in like an empty room, imagining that like everything was falling around us. Just literally just like, it was a black floor. It wasn't even green, it was just like, it was so big, the green screen was so far away they couldn't put any marks, and it was just pathways that were meant to be like corridors. So we were just running, like we were all just like, what are we doing? This is so stupid.
Yeah, part of the challenge of the imagination of an actor. Also, a lot of, every time I ask this for any actor, the usual answer is like, no, but I want to know your answer. Do you like to see your own movies?
You know what, the only thing that's interesting about seeing these films is because like when I look back at them, I'm a different person. I'm a 9-year-old child in the first one. So the only like bizarre thing is you're like, it's quite cute, you're looking back at someone who's just like a little kid. So for me, I can disconnect myself from looking at it because it looks like a different person. Whereas if I did it now, no way, probably.
Vamos a ver otro clip. Tenemos otro clip de toda la saga.
Set me up, will you? It seems silly, doesn't it, a wedding, given everything that's going on?
Maybe that's the best reason to have it. Because of everything that's going on.
Morning.
Sounds like the romance part, you can tell. The chemistry with Daniel was amazing. He's such a nice guy in camera, behind cameras. He's a lovely guy. So do you keep talking? We are still friends. How is the relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it was always obviously from the two of our characters. We never really knew when we first started making the films that was like where the characters were going to go. So much like Dan and I and everyone, we'd all become just this kind of extended family and friends. So when all of these scenes started to come into play, it was obviously a really bizarre thing. It was like having to kiss your best friend or a brother or something. It was weird. But yeah, I mean, I had so much fun doing all of those scenes with him. It was really nice. A lot of those scenes were with David Yates, and we had a lot of a lot of conversation as the relationship developed. And for me as an actress, having like that bit more as the character was like another challenge, and it was exciting for me. And all of us, that experience will never leave any of us. And every time we come back round and see each other, it's that unique experience that's just so lovely to see people again. And I think that friendship can never be lost from all of us, which is just really nice.
It's part of the popular culture, so we'll be here like forever.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of props, a lot of custom pieces. How tempting is to keep something for you from the whole movie?
We can't really tell you what we took, can we? We have to keep that a secret.
Okay. But you got your own treasures.
No, well, to be honest, the reason everything was like seriously secured. I mean, everything was like every prop that every time wands were like gold. They were like, every time you took a wand in a scene, they would like take it, like write it off on a bit of paper and like almost like count them when you gave them back in. And if you ever broke one, which could easily happen, you like snapped it. They were like, oh, what have you done? You've snapped another wand. So, I mean, the beauty of why you can now go to all these things like the studio tour and all these experiences is because they archive like every single thing we've ever used. So, unfortunately, because it's so precious, everything in Harry Potter, they were very, very secure with all of the props. So no, I'm just gonna have to buy my wand in the shop like all of you guys.
Like everybody else. Yeah, well, there's a big exhibit in London. They have all the props and all the real things, so yours must be there.
I'm gonna have to be a customer, yeah.
Yeah. Bueno, preguntas chicos, ¿alguien quiere saber más? Ok, a ver. Vamos a ver.
¿Quiénes fueron tus mejores amigos durante la saga de Harry Potter?
¿Dónde estás? No te veo. Aquí. Allá. Your closest friends during the shooting?
Oh, that's hard. That's like asking who do you like better, your mum or your dad? That's like not a good thing to answer. I mean, for me, obviously, the people that are the closest to me are the Weasley family. Like, they were the best. And all of the scenes that we did in the Burrows were just like, hands down, like the funniest scene. I mean, none of us could like keep a straight face throughout. We just like made each other laugh the entire time. So the Weasleys obviously are my family. So.
My Durmstrang boys.
A ver, otra pregunta. A ver, allá. Projects?
Yeah, so when I went to college, I went to film school, so I've been directing and writing, which is what I studied at film school. So since then, I've been making a lot of my own films, and I've been writing and directing. So I'm going back to London in January to shoot my next short film.
I shot a film and that's coming out in February in Bulgaria. And I'm doing a bit of traveling right now, and I will stop at some point because my mom wants me to celebrate at home Christmas. But yeah, I have a few things lined up, so keep busy. Yeah.
So Bonnie is a filmmaker, studied to make movies and scripts and writing. So, with your experience as an actress, that of course helped you a lot to understand the whole process.
Oh yeah, I mean the best film school I ever could have had was, these 10 years on the films. I was always such a curious child. I was always like interested, like what does this button do? And like I was always interested in what was happening behind the scenes. And with Harry Potter, all of the different departments, like the amount of energy and like that went into the production design, the costume design, like every prop was just so well done. And all of the cameramen and the lighting people were like the best you could have at that time in the world.
And what kind of movies do you want to do? Is like you got a specific interest in, or is just?
Generally, right now they're pretty like straight drama. I mean, there's pretty like very, very character driven, heavily character driven. There's no sort of sci-fi fantasy element to it. It's very kind of the everyday reality of characters in life.
Nice. Congratulations. A ver, pregunta chicos. Allá.
This question is for Bonnie. How do you feel when you kiss Daniel?
Well, as I was saying before, it's a very bizarre thing to do that with someone who you've been friends with for so long. So you've got to remember that when you're on a film set, there's like 1,000 people watching, and you have to do it about 100, 200 times, and you're like, suddenly it's very like mechanic. So I doubt it's really that same feeling that Ginny and Harry felt when it happened. It was very different. It's very strange. Even watching it now, that was like really strange to watch.
And it's very technical, right? Because you got the camera here and the other one comes, the light, your nose is like this, you need to move the other way. So it's nothing romantic at all. It's like super technical and repeated over and over again. Who else? A ver, chicos.
Hi. I'm so grateful that, first of all, I need to say that I'm so grateful because you really make me happy today, so thank you. And I bet all your fans here. My question for Bonnie is, what do you think about Ginny waiting so long to get to be with Harry? And my question for Stan is, how do you feel to work with Emma Watson? Because I think she's really...
Okay. My question. Okay, so that was how long? Well, yeah. I guess she waited a bit too long. Why didn't Joe Rowling get the two of them together earlier? I think there's like nice little like pointers and clues that you get that maybe that they're going to end up together. So I think almost maybe we didn't see that coming, and then suddenly when it did happen, all of those things made sense. But yeah, I think the minute, Ginny as this character was like surrounded by older brothers, so she was always kind of like shoved to the corner as just like the little sister, and suddenly she, the minute she gets to Hogwarts and she gets into Quidditch, suddenly she becomes like really confident and really cool, so I enjoyed that that shift?
Yeah, my question. Obviously, I enjoyed working with Emma. But to be honest, I enjoyed working with absolutely everyone on set. Everyone is really friendly, really nice. I mean, you know, from kids up to all the grown-ups. As I said, we were like a big family on a big playground, so it was all really good. But obviously, you know, Viktor Krum had his moments with Hermione, so...
First, I really love you both. My question is for Bonnie. Like when you were first cast as a little girl, did you expect it, or did you have any idea that it would become such a big thing, that you would still have many fans even after the series ended?
No, I did not think that at 9 years old when I was cast. I mean, none of us really, you know, all of the books hadn't been written, so everyone was one question at a time. So all the books hadn't been written, so obviously none of us really knew where our characters were going to go. So that was like the mystery in a way of like what was going to happen. And I mean, obviously before the movies were made, there was like already a following of the books. So I think everyone knew that there was going to be an audience, but like no one could have ever imagined in their wildest dreams that the phenomenon that exploded out of the movies like happened. And I'm sure if you told us that when we were all cast, it would have been quite like a daunting thing to be told if we're like, this is how big the movies are going to become. And almost the unknown of what it did become made it more exciting.
The relationship with J.K. Rowling, how was she's visit the set sometimes? How is she?
Yeah, she's amazing. She's such a cool woman. She's like, she was very, very clever in the way that she wasn't like overly dominating like creatively in the process of the movies. Like she really trusted the creative team behind the films and very much was like, I trust that you'll make a great movie out of these books. And she never used to, when she came on set, she never used to like say to anyone she was going to come. She would just like appear, so no one was like waiting or wondering when she'd come. But she's always been really supportive, and she's just like the kind of perfect like aunt that you wish you always had.
And for Warner Brothers is one of the biggest franchise ever in the history of the studio. And next year we have the spin-off of Harry Potter. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as much as like every fan. I mean, you're going to understand about the magical world, where it's come from, how it was born, and I'm really excited for all the people who are going to be in those movies. Knowing how much it changed my life, I'm sure it's going to change theirs as well.
For you, Stan?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm waiting, you know, to see the spin-offs as well. It's going to be interesting to see how, you know, the new generation of, you know, actors who get involved into these movies, you know, what happens to them. Because it's changed my life as well as everyone else who's been part of Harry Potter so far. So everyone is in for a life change, and it will be interesting to see, you know, what happens with everyone else.
Nice. Micrófono por allá.
Bonnie, Stan, hi, I love you. Thanks. I'm so happy to talk with you. And my question for both are what is your favorite scene of Harry Potter saga, and if you can change a part of the saga, what things you change?
Favorite scene from the whole saga? Wow, favorite scene?
That's very, very hard. There's like a billion scenes. I guess, favorite scene, jeez. I mean, I wouldn't say it was my favorite probably in terms of, I love, I mean this Chamber of Secrets for Ginny's character was like super, super fun. And it was the only moment, obviously in the first film I played such a small role, and in that second movie I got to do so much with Tom Riddle's diary and all of those things. And weirdly enough, a lot of that stuff, like we did like a lot of B-roll footage of like me possessed with the diary and running around Hogwarts doing all these like crazy things. And loads of those were like really enjoyable because we just went off on like a small crew and just shot them. And there was like a few of them built into a montage in the movie, but like loads of them we filmed and they're like never, obviously because it was like 2 hours worth of like Ginny being sort of crazy, that they never put in the movies. But I really enjoyed all of those things because they were a real challenge for me, and I was still really young during that filming. And one thing I would change, I'm sure you'd like to say like many more films. They didn't, or just like many more books. What happens to Ginny Weasley, the Quidditch player? Hey, what happens there?
Maybe JK got more books coming in the future. Who knows? For instance.
We're gonna get some screaming now. My favorite scene, obviously I've been in the 4th year, it was the Yule Ball. And the reason for this is, well, there is a sad story to it because we were all ending, you know, filming, so one by one we were sort of saying bye on set, but then it was right before Christmas. Yeah, it was.
White, the set. It was like,
yeah, the set was all amazing, nicely set up like winter, and we had the dancing and everything else. Lots of cakes, and you know, it was good fun. So this was, you know, one of my favorite scenes. I cannot just name one. And then one thing I would change is I would make the 4th film into 2, so we get the Quidditch stuff.
Nice. Is Dobby here with us? Hello, Dobby. Hello. Okay. So in the Chamber of Secrets, you got the basilisk. There was a full animatronic, right?
yeah.
How scary was it? How fun was it with that?
Yeah, that was like, I mean, for the scale of like an act, I mean, obviously now, we always forget that most films now, anything you see like the basilisk, you just like always just assume it's going to be computer graphics, where they actually made like a full giant like head coming out of the water that was all animatronic, so it like moved and I mean, that scene was quite scary. I mean, we filmed the Chamber of Secrets, like in the Chamber of Secrets for like almost like 3 weeks, and a lot of the time, obviously, I'm laying on the floor, like half dead. And then the minute my character wakes up, I was like, yay, I have something to do. I've been lying on the floor for like two weeks, so I saw the basilisk in the corner of my eye. But then obviously the minute that like Dan hits the diary with the basilisk fang, and that was really fun. It like exploded with ink, so like went everywhere, all across us, and then we suddenly woke up. But yeah, I really liked that set. Was amazing. It was huge. Like you kind of almost didn't see the scale in the movie, but it was really, really big.
It looks amazing on the movie. So it's like, and the animatronics are super real. So it's very nice. So working with the special effects, with the actors, a lot of actors involved in particular scenes. There's a lot of waiting also between takes. So what is the usual thing to do when you're just there like 2 hours or 3 hours waiting?
Well, the thing is, for most actors when they're not at school, waiting means waiting, but waiting for us meant catching up with homework and doing school. So every hour that we weren't filming, we were like either eating lunch or like doing lessons. Because the entire film, all the way, even in the last film, I was in my first year of university, but we were still like pretty much schooling. So there was not much waiting. It was really hard work.
So you're shooting or
shooting
lessons?
or doing schooling.
Wow.
And it was always the worst. You'd be like in the middle of doing a really, really fun scene, and then you'd have a break and you'd be sat doing like maths homework. Boring.
Must be a totally different change of energy when you're like super high acting and then go back to mathematics. It's like
yeah, or the other way around, you'd be sat really bored and you'd just be waiting like, can we go on set?
A ver, otra pregunta, chicos.
Before any question, we have some presents for the both of you.
¿Qué es esto? Ah, unos dibujos, a ver. ¿Está? Ahí está.
Very pretty.
¿Quién los hizo? Ahí está, felicitaciones. Otra pregunta, chicos.
Hola, una pregunta para Branco, por favor. En la vida real, si pudieran hacer algún hechizo de la película, ¿cuál sería y por qué? Y por favor, ¿podría tomarme un selfie con usted, por favor?
I would like to know
if you can perform magic for real, which one of the spells from the movie do you like to perform?